Thank you, Chair. Colleagues, good to see you. Pensions update. At the moment, we've got 3 court cases. Well, one's an employment tribunal, the other 2 are court cases. The employment tribunal, if you remember, for all those members who put in to the employment tribunal to complain that they'd been discriminated against because of their age, sex, ethnicity, because of the pension, we are still waiting for the injury to feelings to go through. At present, we've asked the solicitors to have a look at what quantum that our members could be looking at, and he's put a reserved estimate on it, roughly round about £1,000 per person. However, our colleagues who are in the judges, they range from anywhere between £4,000 and £15,000. So that's it all depends on a variety of things as to what's happened to you, your age, etc. The second one is what the Chair actually touched upon, which is happening in January. I, on behalf of the National Executive, have been lobbying Cabinet Office, been lobbying the Minister, because they are not dealing with our colleagues who have been ill health retired quickly enough. We've got a lot of our members who've been ill health retired and who are still suffering really bad with their mental health. And this is not doing anything for them because of the delays. We finally pinned them down and asked them when they would start looking at remedying these members. They told us they were going to start in August 2023. Colleagues, that is not good enough. We need pension justice for our members now. So I came back to the National Executive and asked them if they were willing to take part in a test case. They've, gratefully for me, they give me the backing. We've gone ahead. That case will be heard in January. Now, I know the FBU have had a ruling already on their pension scheme in the local, when you're talking about their pension is local, comes down to local fire service. Those local fire services, after they lost again, have decided that they will rectify those pensions in 90 days. That's what we want for our members who have been ill health retired since 2015. So we're looking at our members, particularly those who are in Classic, because as you know, Classic, once you're medical retired, you automatically got, if you were young enough, an uplift of 6 2/3 pension. A lot of our members who have been retired are going to get a lot more money back, but they need that now. And that's sat in the coffers of Treasury at the moment, and they are dragging their heels. So hopefully, when we win it, that case in January, then we will see movement for those members. But it doesn't just affect our colleagues who were ill health retired. It also affects those members who went from Classic into Alpha. And that is because of the difference, excuse me, in the criteria. Because as you know, the criteria for ill health retirement is that you're no longer fit to do the role that you were employed in until your normal retirement age. Whereas Alpha turns around and says that you're no longer fit, excuse me, to do the role or any other role in the prison service until your normal retirement age. And then the upper tier is that you're no longer fit to do any work whatsoever. But on the upper tier as well, colleagues, that is revisited every 5 years. And if they call any of our members up who are on the upper tier and they turn around and say to them, actually, we think that you are now fit enough to do some other work, doesn't matter what it is, some other work, they will immediately be taken down from upper tier to lower tier. So we've got to think on that one as well. So that case is going forward as well. The solicitor who's dealing with it is going to deal with it on a no-win, no-fee. He seems quite confident, but his confidence was that good. He turned around and said, if he did lose, we have to pay the other side's costs. And we all know what GLD will do. They'll come along and they will absolutely hammer us for their costs. The third one is the floor breach. And it's something that we've been talking about, and there's some sort of mix-up. When they introduced the new pension scheme, or they started talking about the new pension scheme in 2010, the Taxpayers Alliance were attacking government because what they were saying was, why is the taxpayer paying for public sector pensions? That's what they were saying. So government introduced the contributions that you now make. Regardless of if we had changed pension schemes, those contributions were coming in. So we are not going to get any money back for the contributions. They were in to stay. And it started in 2012, and they slowly ramped it up, if you remember, when we got to 5.6. When we're talking about you getting money back and things like that from your contributions, is the pension scheme has a ceiling and a floor. And in between is where the pensions needs to be, the pension scheme needs to be. Your pension contributions are paying for those who've retired. That's where your contributions are going. That's why you've got the floor in the ceiling. If the ceiling is breached, then they've got to rectify it. And how they rectify it through your contributions, through your accrual rate, through the death in service benefits and things like that. So if the ceiling's breached, they'll put your contributions up. They'll reduce the accrual rate, so you're putting less in your pension, and they will look at the death in service benefits that you get. What's happened is the floor's been breached. What that means is there's too much money in the pension scheme. So we turned around as part of, because I sit on the scheme advisory board on your behalf, we turned around and said, my preferred option as your representative on there was, for the next 4 years, we don't want to pay any contributions. We just want to, that money should come back to our members. But Cabinet Office and government wouldn't have that. So what we've done as a scheme advisory board, we wrote to the minister, which is the job of the scheme advisory board, to inform him how he will make that breach good. And what we'd agreed was that over the next 4 years, from 2019 to 2023, we would see a reduction in your contributions by 2%. The accrual rate would go up from 1/43rd to I can't remember what it was, about 45th or something like that. Your death in service benefit would go from 2 years to 3 years. And if you look on your pension statement, especially under Alpha, you will see at the top where it's revalorised by Treasury by 1.5%. We turned around and said that should be 2.5%. And what that would do, it would bring the pension back where it's supposed to be. That wonderful MP, Liz Truss, who was Secretary to the Treasury at the time, turned around and said no. We are going to use that money to rectify what we've done under pensions. No, absolutely not. They put you in a pension scheme illegally, and it's them that should be paying for that breach, not you. So again, along with other trade unions, because it's better, as you heard Angela say, it's better that we do it collectively. So the FBU, PCS, GMB are all gone to the same barrister and turned around and said, we want that money back. That is our members' money. It's not their money. If they want to rectify McLeod, they do it themselves. They made the mistake. So again, we've engaged a barrister. The barrister's turned around and told us that he will also do it on a no-win, no-fee. But if we lose, we are looking at a bill of between £300,000 and £500,000. But because we've got all the other trade unions involved, that cost will be shared amongst them. Is he confident that he'll win it? He says he is. And it's very rare that you hear that from a barrister or a solicitor to turn around and say that. So the pensions is rumbling on because at times, and when I come back and report to the National Executive Committee, it's like wading through treacle. It really is. And every time you think you've got something in place, government come along just to knock you back again. So then I come on to the 68 is too late. If you all turn around, there's a fella there with a camera and his cap on. As you come through, you saw the 68 is too late. What I would ask that you would go and see Greg, 2 minutes of your time to go on camera, which will go on social media, it'll go on YouTube, it'll go on our Facebook page, it'll go on Twitter, to say why you can't work till you're 68. And then I'll come on to the political campaign. MPs won't do anything off their own bat. They don't sit in their office and they think, I'll have a look through the, oh, look at that, oh yeah, the POA want to retire at 60. Oh, I think I'll do that. Where that comes from is pressure from you. And we need that pressure from each and every member. Get into your MP, ask the questions, because every time we go up in front of them, they turn around and say, all the time, yes, you're absolutely right, you should retire at 60. And we think, oh, fantastic. And then they turn around and say, but who is going to pay for it? Well, you should pay for it. We, your employees. Let's be honest. Doing this job past 60 is just a non-starter. I look around, and I've been walking around now that prisons have opened up, and I keep saying this when I'm on health and safety as well, along with my colleagues. Our staff are knackered, and you're expecting them to work beyond 60. That is not right. And the only way that we're going to change it is if we all stand up and change it. Because the NEC can do their bit, you as branch officials can do your bit, but our members collectively now need to start putting pressure on politicians. My MP's a Tory, absolutely top bloke, Julian Sturdy. I took a leaf out of Dave Todd's book, and every time I write to him, I always write to him, dear comrade Sturdy. And he absolutely hates it. But he turns around and says, yeah, you should retire. Your members should retire at 60, Joe. But who's going to pay for it? And I say, government, the taxpayer. You do one of the most difficult, stressful jobs in the country. And it is only right that you retire at 60. Colleagues, we'll be putting stuff out in the near future on how you can get involved, how you can start and put that pressure on your politicians. Please get involved in this, because if we don't shout, they won't hear. Finally, colleagues, some of you know, some of you don't know, I never made a secret of it. I lost my right eye to cancer. And the NEC asked me if I wanted to make a secret of it. I wish I had, actually. No, I don't want a parrot. No, stop sending me eBay listings for pirate hats and everything else. Colleagues, we all, as the General Secretary says, we all have banter. You help me get through it, but please stop sending them. But colleagues, on a serious note, and I will echo what's been said by the National Chairman and the General Secretary, there is no place for racism or bigotry in this trade union, and we should fight it everywhere we go. Colleagues, with your assistance and with your support over the next few years, we will get pension justice. Thank you very much.